hosted by a little bitch other than John Oliver. That's right, John. I'm coming for you. This isn't what you sound like at all, but it's British, so it's close enough. I'm your host, Ellie Yurman. Tonight, we've got a gay man talking about abortion, intrepid field reporting on NYC trans subcultures. Emma Jane is here. And of course, war crimes perpetrated by the State of Israel. But first, White Claw is rolling out non-alcoholic White Claw, which is great news for people who love bad water. White Claw claims that their non-alcoholic product is different from drinks like seltzer because it maintains the complexity of alcohol. Buddy, I'm not drinking White Claws because of the complexity. I'm drinking White Claws because if I have like 7, I have the emotional strength to punch a horse. Panera is facing a second lawsuit over their allegedly fatal lemonade. In classic American fashion, people are searching the menu frantically for Panera's You Pick 2 People to Die special. City Council is reportedly voting on a bill that bans solitary confinement at Rikers. Well, great. There go the last affordable studios in this town. Meryl Streep has broken her own record for the most nominated actor ever at the Golden Globes, prompting Republicans to investigate the record-breaking event alongside Leah Thomas's swimming records, worried that Streep might also be transgender. Median asking rents in NYC rose 9.3% this year, which makes sense. The quality of living in the city just keeps getting better. But, you know, it's all worth it for the bagels. Wait, what the f***? New Haven? Dictionary.com named hallucinate its word of the year, or at least that's what the voice inside my head says. Unrelatedly, does anyone else feel like there's 1,000 tiny spiders on them right now? Police identified a robbery suspect from his brightly colored underwear. Said the suspect, actually I'm wearing these sexy parade panties for me. Taylor Swift was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. Yes! I really, really needed this, screamed the mascara-streaked white woman chugging Svedka and slashing your tires with a machete. Hunter Biden reportedly spent close to $1 million on sex workers, porn, and sex club memberships, making him way more electable than Joe Biden. Doritos is releasing a nacho cheese-flavored alcohol. Purchasers of the spirit so far have agreed on one thing. Divorce can be fun. In November of this year, Ohio voters approved a constitutional amendment titled Issue 1, which protects rights to a wide range of reproductive health care, including birth control, fertility treatments, miscarriage, and abortion. Since Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, abortion has become an increasingly important election issue. Here to talk about how abortion rights on the ballot increases voter turnout, please welcome gay Twitter's leading political strategist, Derek!
Hi, Ella. Thanks for having me on, but it's actually Derek.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you said Derek, but it's Derek.
We can edit that in post, yeah?
Get out of it. Stop. This is my show.
For now.
What?
Don't worry about it, babe. Basically, Ohio has become the 7th state to protect abortion access since Roe was overturned in 2022.
Right. Before Ohio, abortion rights were on the ballot in California, Kansas, Sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that abortion rights have been on the ballot in California, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Montana, and Vermont.
But those are my lines. It says my name on the teleprompter.
I know.
Then why did you say my lines? I'm Ella, you're Derek.
It's Derek.
Okay, fine. God, you're so gay. Why do you even care about abortion?
Because I care about women.
Women?
Women in uterus havers, you cut me off.
Okay, pot kettle. Can we get back to Ohio?
Said no one ever. Just kidding. I'm so glad you asked. Ohio matters because Republicans are using it as a testing ground. Why? Because voters in Arizona, Missouri, and elsewhere are expected to vote on similar protections next year, and they want them to vote pro-life. Conservatives know the term pro-life is off-putting to voters. 59% of Ohio voters believe abortion should be legal. So instead of being explicitly anti-abortion, early ads played on parents' fears that by warning that issue 1 would be a gateway to teenagers getting spooky, scary gender transition surgeries without their parents' consent. But the gender strategy didn't work either.
Right. And since their ads failed, Republicans are now frantically responding. The Ohio Senate Finance Committee discussed a bill from Republican State Senator Sandra O'Brien, proposing that individuals who donate to qualifying pregnancy resource centers, aka anti-abortion counseling centers or crisis pregnancy centers, try to convince pregnant women to continue their pregnancies, often through reasons based in faith and religion. Derek!
It's Derek.
Stop interrupting me!
No uterus, no opinion.
You don't have a uterus either, Derek, and also, that's very transphobic.
So, do you not want me to care about this issue anymore? Because I can go back to only thinking about Oscar predictions.
Whoa, a tumbleweed. Hey, did you know that tumbleweeds are actually an invasive species? They accidentally arrived in South Dakota in 1870 in a shipment of flax seeds from Russia. Funny to think that a trope from American West folklore isn't native to America. That wasn't even on the teleprompter. How did you know I was going to say that?
I just had a hunch. Maybe we can get back to how abortion rights on the ballot increases voter turnout.
I still don't understand why you care about this so much.
Listen, Ella, when we were talking about who's doing what this episode, I was told I'd get to speak on the topic because you, quote, assigned all the smart writers to the Palestine piece, but we needed anyone to talk about abortion. For the love of God, will someone please do it, unquote. And I said, yeah, I could be on TV. So now I'm here.
Wait, hold on. Are you Brandon, my writer right now, or character Derek, political strategist?
It's Derek.
Oh my God, okay. So conservatives are scrambling, and they're doing everything they can to circumvent the amendment. Ohio Republicans want to introduce legislation to remove judges' ability to interpret Issue 1, aiming to hand that power back to the state legislature, which is, you guessed it, controlled by Republicans. Derek?
Oh, I'm allowed to speak now? Great. For 50 years, people didn't have to think so explicitly about this at the voting booth because a bunch of old farts in black robes decided it's not our business. But now, thanks to the Dobbs ruling, we have to get our individual rights in back alley polling places. And it's scaring the Republicans. Many believe the outcome of the 2023 election could foreshadow what's to come in 2024, when Dems hope this issue will energize the voters to Pokemon go to the polls and keep President Biden in the White House.
Yeah, you know, Biden or an actual Democrat, maybe. Wouldn't that be cool? But you're right. Abortion is so powerful as a Democratic issue that now every town, the gun control organization founded and funded by Michael Bloomberg, used its TV ads in Virginia to promote abortion rights before it ever brought up gun violence.
Meanwhile, Mexico's Supreme Court threw out all federal criminal penalties for abortion, ruling that national laws prohibiting the procedure violate women's rights in a sweeping decision that extended Latin Americans' trend of widening abortion access.
Whoa, wait, how did we get to Mexico?
I'm always in Mexico, Ella. I'm gay.
Okay, well, in Kentucky, a place in America where we live, Dems are testing whether abortion can give them a political edge in a red state. Last year, after Roe v. Wade was overturned, Kentucky's trigger ban went into effect, and Governor Andy Beshear used it to label his Republican opponents as an extremist.
Right. It's basically a requirement to address abortion if you want to win an election. The chair of the RNC blamed Virginia candidates for losing because they dodged the issue. Virginia Governor Youngkin wants to make abortion legislation a priority in the last southern state without significant restrictions, focusing on a 15-week ban while Democrats campaign for no limits.
Republicans are divided on how to collectively move forward with this issue, especially since 2/3 of the country supports legal abortion. Do they capitalize on the Dobbs decision for an abortionless future, or do they concede to a weird patchwork of individual state laws?
Which is such a mess. I can't even remember which state I can turn left on red.
Do you mean right on red?
Not the way I do it.
Gay people should not be allowed to drive. Which reminds me, why do you care about this issue so much? You don't have a uterus, and you clearly don't like women, so what's going on?
I work in politics, Emma. This is a mainstream issue.
It's Ella.
And it's Derek. Some of my best friends are uterus havers, and I'm an empath. Okay, fine. I'm scared gay marriage is next. Clarence Thomas says he wants to use Dobbs to overturn Obergefell, and that affects me.
Yeah, there it is. Nobody with 100K followers and that haircut does things out of the goodness of their heart. Any final thoughts, Derek?
Yeah, thank you for saying it's Derek. The question for Democrats is how they can translate all of this momentum to Biden, who remains unpopular while others running on his agenda have prevailed. Frankly, I would love if the Democratic Party would stop using human rights as a Trojan horse to get people to the polls and put forth some candidates that are actually attractive. I really don't like voting for uggos.
All right, Derek, everyone! Get out of here. No one wants you here. Moving on to our next story tonight. A 2018 study found that a vast majority of cis people are still unwilling to date a trans person, leaving trans people to date each other. For more on this story... Yeah. For more on this story, we welcome our trans culture correspondent, Trixie Trichomoniasis. Hi, Trixie.
Hi, Ella.
What do you have for us tonight?
Much more than trichomoniasis. Well, Ella, our new fan base loves you, but they hardly even get to know anything about you, especially when it comes to your dating life. Not to be crude, but one of the most beautiful things about being trans is sex. Displays of love in all of its forms are essential to trans expression, and you're missing out because you spend your nights cooped up in the studio. I know it stings. It's cold. The other side of the bed. Like it screams at you. Like it has its own lungs. Like it's breathing every last bit of air around you until you suffocate.
It does. It stings. But I'm married to the news! And even if I wasn't literally chained to the desk, I've been out of the game so long, I don't know what dating looks like in the outside world.
Well, you're in luck because I spent the last month going deep undercover, researching exactly that. Take a look. This is you. You're a transgender woman in the prime of her youth, and these are the 5 trans people you'll date in New York City. He's toned. Suspiciously toned. The sex is incredible, but for some reason he only fucks you from behind.
Sorry, I'm not really a boob guy.
Or a long hair guy, or a soft skin guy, or a skirts guy. In fact, he only seems to compliment you when he's wearing something he would wear. Is it because he sees you as a guy? No, it couldn't possibly be that.
You're not really gonna get the surgery, are you?
Suspiciously toned indeed. Not to be hyperbolic, but she's perfect. She's witty, has a great job, and even pretends she likes it when you call her mommy in bed. Your idea of a good date was spending your McDonald's points and streaming from 123 movies. But she's a great cook and has enough disposable income for Hulu without ads. She's more than just an age gap kink. You love her. But no matter how well the dates go, it seems like you're not her first priority.
It's 9:30. I'll send you a calendar invite. Here's some cat fare.
Oh, dual income household. That would explain the king-size mattress. She can get you into any club, sex dungeon, or bar mitzvah in New York City. You're not really into drugs like that, but around her, you're Tony Montana. No, Hunter S. Thompson. Bad comparison. Mia Wallace? You only give in to the peer pressure because you're afraid she'll lose interest in you. But whatever. She's got an 8-inch dick. She'll tell you she loves you after she's done dry humping every promoter, ex-girlfriend, and Instagram micro-celebrity she can find.
I take it this is a bad time to talk about boundaries.
You probably should have seen this one coming. Maybe nightlife isn't for you. Maybe you like staying home. A lot. Is there a fundamental difference between you hauling and falling asleep together every single night after reading bell hooks? You get up early to go to your job while they sleep in because they don't have one.
I'm just taking the year to work on myself. I didn't find my last gig very fulfilling.
The gig was McKinsey. They worked in McKinsey. You're too scared to add not making weird comments about unhoused people to their to-do list. They don't tend to take that kind of criticism well.
I feel like the colored hair just invites microaggressions. It's really hard to move through the world as me. I don't think you would get it.
That's technically true. You've never done global management consulting. You forgot how easy it was to talk to him. He remembers all the inside jokes you made when you were dating.
Remember when we went to see the Sufjan musical upstate together?
He makes you laugh, and he's always listened to the things that you care about. Deep down, you do love each other. maybe you could start over. Maybe life is about second chances. Maybe...
God, I always hated that coat. Makes you look like a man. Have you even gotten a haircut since we broke up? Do you still hang out with all those 24-year-old friends? I never really liked any of them.
Maybe you were right the first time. Maybe you can text the gay one if he's free tonight.
Trixie, that was awesome, but I was kind of expecting reported political journalism, and instead you made a queer art house college humor sketch. This is a political show?
The personal is political, Ella, especially as a trans woman. Every aspect of your life is politicized by the state and the oppressive power structures that govern our everyday lives. Haven't you read Carol Hernanish?
No, I don't have any idea who that is. But that's not the point. You said you were doing a field piece.
A field piece. I thought you said field piece. I'm sorry.
Okay, moving on. Also, I canonically can't leave the studio, so did you CGI me into that video without asking? That seems really unethical.
Yeah, it's a wonder what you can do with ChatGPT these days. SAG really fumbled the ball when it comes to AI restrictions. Now I can do kind of whatever I want. You want to check my phone? I got a lot of renders of you
No,
naked.
that's good. Tricky trick, everyone. Enough out of you. Get out of here. And now, an important message from the FDA.
I might have had a drink or two, believe me. I'm just as funny when I've had none. Now I'm going home with you, it's easy. We're dancing in the dark and now we're done. Oh, won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. No, won't worry about the other night. Fair game in the dark and no shame, hush remarks. Hold on till the morning, hold me in the morning. Lights down, no one knows out of town, and so we go. See you in the morning, I will be here morning, but you won't. If it looks like I'm moving on, believe me, you're rather in the corner of my mind. Oh, love me for the night and then deceive me. I just can't let you go, I wonder why. 'Cause you won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right, no, no. Won't worry about the other night. Fair game in the dark and no shame, hush remarks. Hold on till the morning, hold me in the morning. Lights down, no one knows out of town, and so we go. See you in the morning, I will be here morning, but you won't. I'm putting you to work, audience. We gotta split you in two, and I know I actually have access to the one existing binary. Do you wanna hear it? Those of you on antidepressants, this is your part. Won't turn on the light. Don't be shy, I'm on Zoloft. You can do it. Won't turn on the light. Okay, a little louder maybe? Won't turn on the light. Okay, I've run raw dogging life. This is your part. It goes, won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. Can we do it? Yeah. Won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. No, no. Won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. Vitamins count as antidepressants. Won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. Last one. Won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. Beautiful. Won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. Won't turn on the light, just won't treat me right. No, won't worry about the other night. Thinking in the dark, no shame, hush remarks. Hold on till the morning, just hold me in the morning. Lights down, no one knows out of town, and so it goes. See you in the morning, but you won't. Oh, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Late Stage Live! We were just watching a musician, I assume. Moving on to our main story tonight. Put on your big girl panties. It's time to talk about Israel and Palestine. On October 7th, Hamas fighters from Gaza entered Israel and captured 240 captives and killed 1,200 people. Israel's response to this was to escalate its military occupation, where Palestinians are routinely humiliated and detained and murdered, into a full-on genocidal onslaught. Over 18,000 people in Gaza have been killed, 40% of whom are children. In addition, Israel has been prevented food, fuel, and medicine from entering the Gaza Strip. And while the siege on Palestinian people has been horrific, it isn't new. What is new is the international response. We've seen a mass of global uprisings in support of the Palestinian people at an unprecedented scale, especially among young people. A Quinnipiac poll published on November 16th showed 65% of voters between 18 and 34 oppose military aid to Israel, as opposed to 25% of 65 and older. Public opinion is shifting. People are learning about Palestine's history and the Israeli apartheid regime. They're seeing the injustice and they're pissed. So what's changed here? Why is Israel losing the propaganda war? Why don't kids have the genocidal bloodlust that they used to? Is it TikTok's fault? Yes.
Well, yes.
Okay.
Well, no. Well, sort of, kind of.
For nearly a century, Western mainstream media was the only way vast majority of Americans learned about what was happening in Palestine, which would be great if that reporting were unethical, unbiased, and truthful. Unfortunately, most mainstream news outlets don't really measure up to that standard. Not that that's surprising. We all know that journalistic objectivity was created to benefit Yale law alums who want minorities to shut up. It's a standard that's already flawed to begin with, but most reports on Palestine manage to limbo right under that incredibly low bar. For every headline that says thousands more Palestinians dead in Gaza, it feels like there are at least 3 headlines that say things like, Israel says Gazan babies make them feel scared, and college campuses ravaged by dangerous calls to stop G-word. Any freshman English major knows to avoid 2 things, writing in the passive voice and direct eye contact. But major news publications abuse the shit out of the passive voice when they report on Israel's violence against Palestinians. In 2014, an Israeli missile blew up a Gaza cafe, killing 8 civilians who were there to watch a World Cup soccer match. And here's the headline for the New York Times article about the bombing. Missile at beachside Gaza cafe finds patrons poised for the World Cup. What the hell is that? The headline makes it sound like the missile, a newly single gal in her late 40s, took a stroll on the beach and stopped for coffee and found some friends to watch soccer with. Is the New York Times describing a bombing or a scene from the Sex and the City reboot? Oh, missile, you're such a Samantha. And when talking heads, media personalities, and journalists support Palestinians or criticize the Israeli government, they risk losing their jobs. We saw it in 2018 when Mark Lamont Hill was fired from CNN after giving a speech at the UN in support of the Palestinian struggle. And again, this year, when Melissa Barrera was fired from her role as a main character in Lily's Scream movie. No word on whether Ghostface will be fired for his support of public serial stabbings. And it's not just public figures. Nurses, law students, scientists, and pilots have been fired or had their job offers rescinded for saying Free Palestine, or for simply supporting a ceasefire. Pro-Palestine students are getting doxxed, and they have been for a long-ass time. Canary Mission, which is surprisingly not about birds or coal mines, but is equally as dark, is an anonymously funded website that tracks, blacklists, and publishes personal information about activists, students, and professors. Their stated mission is to document people and groups who promote hatred of the United States, Israel, and Jews, but they primarily target pro-Palestine movements on campus to, quote, ensure that today's radicals are not tomorrow's employees. Wow, what an evil fucking mission statement. Good luck selling yourselves as the good guys. In 2018, the Israeli news publication Haaretz revealed that the Israeli government uses Canary Mission as a source of information to bar entry into the country. This means if you're a Palestinian living abroad, you could be barred from visiting your friends and family just because you tweeted Free Palestine. Canary Mission directly targets BDS, a Palestinian-led global movement that aims to pressure the Israeli government into complying with international law through boycotts, divestment, and sanctions, which is just wild. You're making a whole WordPress page to put up pictures of people boycotting SodaStream? All of that for fizzy water? Doxing people over Sabra? If you're trying to help them out, first tell them to stop making such dog shit hummus. If you really want to track anti-Semites, put Marjorie Taylor Jewish Space Laser Green on there. Jesus. You can put him on there too. In order to move forward with this piece with a shred of integrity, we're going to have to express solidarity with the Palestinian struggle. But I can't lose my gig at the dry blowjob factory. My family depends on those paychecks. So let's all do a handy protection spell. Ready? I condemn Hamas. Say it with me. I condemn Hamas. Cool, awesome, that should do it. Not that they could fire me from the dry blowjob factory. My dad is the CEO. So why are the kids risking their futures as Amazon warehouse employees to support Palestinians? Is it TikTok? Is it social media? Well, yes and no. While mainstream news outlets obfuscate any story that might make Zionists uncomfortable, young people are seeing devastating images of entire neighborhoods bombed into rubble on social media. And American kids in particular care because we're paying for it to happen. The US sends over $3 billion in military aid to Israel every year. That's over $3 billion of our tax dollars going to fund a genocide. I mean your tax dollars. I don't pay taxes. The IRS doesn't audit hot girls. Read the Constitution. And yeah, I just talked about being hot in the middle of our genocide piece. I'm Gen Z. My feed serves me genocide and then lesbian thirst traps and then a different genocide on a loop. Israel is the largest cumulative recipient of US military assistance since World War II, receiving well over $130 billion in the last 75 years. $130 billion? Dude, with that money, I could build a Taco Bell in my apartment and give it a BBL, and I'd have money to spare. More than 80% of Israel's weapons come from the United States. So every time we see a pile of rubble or dead Palestinian children on our screens, we know that there's a good chance that we helped pay for it. And not only that, Biden is currently asking for $10.1 billion more of your dollars to give to the Israeli government. So what, we got unlimited money for war crimes over here? The only things that should be unlimited in this country are healthcare and breadsticks. Let's make something very clear. Palestinian solidarity did not spring up whole cloth from the depths of a TikTok dance. Palestinian activists, writers, and academics have been organizing kind of forever for a free Palestine, both globally and in the US. Students for Justice in Palestine, a group the media pretends just popped up recently, have been organizing for 3 decades. And unlike most 30-year-olds, SJP isn't complaining about how its back hurts. There's a long lineage of Palestinian voices advocating for freedom that includes the likes of Edward Said, Ghassan Kanafi, Zaina Arafat, Mossab Abu Toha, and even famous political activist Bella Hadid. And historically, leftist political thinkers like Malcolm X, Kwame Ture, Angela Davis, and Russell Means have staunchly proclaimed solidarity with Palestine, citing the creation of Israel as a clear example of settler colonialism. Zionists defend Israel on the grounds that Jews have had ancestral ties to Palestine, which is, true for many people, including Palestinians. But do those ties justify genocide? Some might say, no, obviously not. Nothing justifies genocide. What is wrong with you? We don't have to rely solely on mainstream outlets anymore to cover the genocide in Gaza, because social media gives us other options. Content creators have been able to contextualize the atrocities in Gaza within a framework that discusses the history of Palestine, the British creation of Israel, the 1967 war, the Nakba, the military occupation, Zionism, colonialism, and Palestinian liberation movements. Others contextualize them within a slightly different framework.
Buckle up, girly pops. We're talking about Israel and Palestine.
Let's start from the beginning. Let's say you have a girl named Patty. It's her birthday party and it's lit. Then all of a sudden, this girl named Brittany comes in and is like, hey, I'm taking over this party. Also, my girl Izzy is actually gonna have her birthday party here. Patty's like, no.
Holy shit, girly pop. There's a time and a place to say hi, Barbie, and it's not now. Look, obviously TikTokers aren't beholden to the rigorous standards of journalistic ethics we expect from mainstream news outlets. But clearly, neither are the mainstream news outlets, and that's what primary sources are for. Actual Gazans have been recording what they're seeing on the ground, showing us what their lives are really like under siege. Take Bassam Ouda, a 25-year-old Palestinian filmmaker from Gaza. Before October 7th, she used her social media to document her everyday life in Gaza, posting cooking videos, nature walks, and these cool Monsters Inc. socks. She has since become a valued and trusted source for on-the-ground updates about civilian life under Israeli bombardment, documenting demolished hospitals, ambulance bombings, and the struggle to access basic resources like food, water, and medicine. Ouda is one of the many Palestinians providing an inside look into the country while struggling to survive an active genocide. Plessia Al-Akkad is a 22-year-old Palestinian photojournalist whose footage has been featured on NBC News, New York Magazine, and even the New York Times. Mataz Aziza, a 24-year-old photojournalist, has published some of the most harrowing images and videos of the devastation in Gaza to his 16.8 million Instagram followers. Look, I know I've said before that I'd do anything for 16 million followers, but by anything, I meant post whole. Not risk my life and safety. Al-Akkad recently fled Gaza, telling her 4+ million followers, "I don't feel safe, but I especially don't feel safe when wearing the press vest and helmet." She's not wrong to fear for her life. As of this taping, at least 63 journalists have been killed by Israel since October 7th alone. Auda often begins posts with, "I'm still alive." Mataz Aiza lost 15 relatives in an Israeli airstrike on his home. All that, and the New York Times can't even be bothered to stand in solidarity or to name their killers. No, instead they're writing headlines like, "Heavy mysterious bombing," or maybe even fireworks, or maybe even an alien invasion leaves Gazans unalive, according to drama queen Palestinians, probably. Politicians have yet again called for banning TikTok. This time, on the grounds that, according to Senator and haunted doll from 1700 brought back to life Marco Rubio, it's brainwashing young people into being against the Israeli occupation. This is from someone who once declared that critical race theory is Marxist-inspired indoctrination. Oof. Have you ever met anyone that was so hurt by a 2016 NPR article titled "Marco Rubio Ends His Presidential Campaign"? Real brainwashing is being convinced that Zionism and Judaism are equivalent. Zionism is about maintaining the state of Israel through colonial means, but Judaism is about shitting your brains out after drinking a milkshake and resenting Rachel Sennett for her achievements. Young people are not going into supporting Palestine blindly, no matter how complicated Israel supporters want us to believe it is. We already know that the US can't be trusted. Last week, the US was the only member of the UN Security Council to veto a draft resolution that would have demanded an immediate ceasefire and release of the hostages. Counting on the US to be on the right side of history is like when someone sends me a smiley face emoji in a text. Do you think I'm fucking stupid? I know you're scared I'm mad at you, and you're right. I am mad. Come face me. Public opinion is shifting on Palestine because not only are young people seeing firsthand what's going on in Gaza, but they're able to contextualize it with information made more accessible on TikTok. Primary sources and firsthand accounts on social media remind us that being anti-colonial and pro-Palestine aren't new ideas. They allow for liberation movements to stay alive, adapt to the present moment, and hopefully expand our political imaginations. What could a better world look like for all of us, and how do we get there? It's a big question that would require a full episode, or 2, or 3, to really get into, but for now, groups like Palestinian Youth Movement, Within Our Lifetime, Jewish Voice for Peace, and others are leading the way. As we move into yet another week of global protests, I think of the recently martyred Palestinian poet and academic, Dr. Rafat al-Rir. He was someone who many looked to for updates on Gaza, and he was targeted by an Israeli airstrike. In DMs with writer and podcaster Katie Halper, when asked what we can do to help, he wrote, "More pressure on the media, more coverage, more Palestinian voices, more protests. Don't stop talking about Palestine. Don't stop fighting." We'll be right back.